Hey, buddy. It's great to see you. Jason Elrod, good close friend of mine. I'm Skip Sorrels. We're going to talk a little bit about things that maybe nobody talks about. So, first question I have for you.
Okay.
What are people not talking about in the realm of cybersecurity and healthcare that they should be?
What are people not talking about in cybersecurity and healthcare? I think what people are not talking about is I'm going to call it choose your hard.
Okay.
Choose your hard. And when you don't choose to do things over time, you don't choose to have the discipline over time to do certain things in an infrastructure, maintain a good cadence around life cycles, whether it's solutions or data quality or data inventories or keeping things up because you can get through it with just good enough. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, you know what? Can we go one more year with this piece of hardware? Can we go one more year with this in this current situation because it's always worked? And I think that's caught up with us. That's caught up with us because the risk of not changing is now so great that the risk that it overwhelms any risk of possibly having changed or updated or spent in these past areas. So things like the underpinning fundamentals around data security, data quality, data assets, data control, configuration, all of these components. Why is that a big deal? Because if you want to take advantage of AI, mm-hmm. Well, what does AI eat, breathe, drink?
For lunch every day.
For lunch every day.
Data.
It's data. And so if your data infrastructure, if you haven't spent the time and the discipline for it, we didn't choose the hard to do that in healthcare, and there's several reasons why, maybe we didn't in healthcare as a general. We now have the hard of we have to do that now, and we can't be as quick or as agile or as flexible or innovative with AI because we now have to deal with that problem because you can't jump into that space of modern IT because we haven't done the modern equivalent of those type of things. It's legacy. So it's legacy tech debt. In the specifics, I'm going to talk around the data aspects of it because data is the oil of the information age, right? But it's the DNA, right, of the AI age. And I
Absolutely.
think we're kind of up against that little friction right now.
I'm so glad you went there because I've had several media interviews or citations or questions lately. And of course, what do you expect? It's all about AI. What do you think about AI? And I'm glad to hear you say what you did because I see it that way as well. And I think I even said something like, just like governance, risk, and compliance applies to assets, it also applies to data and the disparate systems that live within infrastructure that are all over the place. And then there's this concept that I call data loneliness. And I really like the thought of that in the sense that we're leveraging cybersecurity for security, but what I see people not doing is looking at the platform as a business intelligence tool. So you and I are fond of Elisity, we're fond of Claroty.
Yep. Talk
a little bit about the concept that I just kind of described, what you went with in terms of what we're not talking about.
Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. And tell me more about how those solutions or platforms help you with choosing the hard.
So how do I elicit clarity with Elisity and Claroty?
Correct.
Okay. Back to that fundamentals, right? So, and I'll stick to the data component as in the business intelligence component of it. We haven't necessarily understood where all our data is, or what necessarily should have access to that in any particular time from an ephemeral standpoint or a longitudinal standpoint. And it's tools like Claroty that can show us that. It actually shows us, hey, these systems, this is the regular path. This is how data moves. So maybe we weren't the best in doing data inventories, data movements, data owners, but we can now see it in real time. So what is that? What does that look like? And Claroty, as an example, as a platform, it will show us, hey, this system talks to this system 99% of the time. Okay, then I can go to those two systems and say, what is the data? What is the quality? What's occurring here? So not only do I see the communication path, and I say this is the correct communication path, this is the functional communication path, this is what we use, but I can now go to those spots and say, well, I never actually knew that there's this third thing that it actually talked to, and it's actually essential to this conversation. So a lot of our lack of preparation in the past is made up in spades with tools like Claroty, because it's going to allow us to be able to say, okay, great, I never knew that was, but now I know it is. This is the intelligence platform play on it. I know it is, and it needs to be contemplated now. From my standpoint, I can say, okay, well, how are we now protecting that? How are we? Is it proper usage, or has this been compromised for decades? Or I mean, I can come back here and say that, but I can say, okay, well, no, this is really the ecosystem. And I probably don't have the security controls contemplated because I never necessarily knew that was the communication path. This is where Elisity comes in. I can say, okay, great, this is the correct pattern. And now we can now drop that in and shrink wrap that, essentially, and have the proper controls that are based on the proper intelligence, so we don't actually impact operations at all, and gain the controls. We kind of get a wish granted from. It takes the hard and makes it easier.
Right.
Definitely easier. And what I like, it's more rational. I mean, because I can come in and put irrational controls everywhere. I mean, you know me. So.
Well, and you know me too.
Yeah, I know you. So we don't want to put that, but it gives us a rationality to it, and it gives us a mechanism. That's key. So, I mean, everybody has thoughts and narratives. I prefer well-formed thoughts and logical narratives, not just thoughts and narratives. And this puts that tooling in place for organizations that, for whatever reason, have that legacy issue, have that legacy debt. And this goes a long way to help accelerate that and remove that.
That's fantastic. So, last thing I'm gonna bring up, and I've said this a few times out loud. I don't think I've said it to you, but I've gotten a "I really don't like you" look, or
So it's not just me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What I've said is vulnerability management is a fool's errand.
100%.
And it's an exercise in futility that we thought was the right thing to do for many years now, but I've come to the conclusion that I want to know what gets me breached today. And that's going to be looking through a platform or solution that tells me what's exposed, but more importantly, is it exploitable?
Yeah, that's it.
And so tell me a little bit about how you view the knowledge or kind of an awareness of the vulnerabilities and the risk that is in your environment, and what you think about it now with the synergy between the two platforms, Claroty and Elisity, that you're using.
This is the path of Thermopylae. That's what it is. And we don't even refer to it as vulnerability management in my particular org anymore. We refer to it as exploitability management.
Okay.
So it's exploitability management. Because there is a population, especially in healthcare, that will always be vulnerable. Nothing I can do about it. And I actually posit that everybody is vulnerable right now. They just don't necessarily know it. It's called 0 days. I mean, so it's out there. So, but to the point of like, I can't necessarily protect Athens over here. I can't all of the infrastructure, because it's an enormous task. It's a task that is actually not achievable. You cannot patch and protect enough there. But what you can do is you can say, okay, where can I focus my mitigation controls? Where is that path of Thermopylae? I got 1 million threat actors out here, and I've got all this population inside here that is providing, in my case, patient care. I mean, it's literally people's lives. How do we protect that if we can't solve all this? We can't make everybody their own Spartan. Where do we put our Spartans?
Right.
And that's exploitability management. And this is key. I mean, like Claroty will show me like, hey, this goes to this, goes to this. I can do that dependency mapping, and I can bring it up and say, you know what, I may not be able to protect the entire city, but I can protect this one path. And if I do that, it doesn't really matter if it's vulnerable. It's got to be vulnerable. But it's no longer exploitable, or at least I can put the best controls, the best visibility, the best auditability right there. And we always have to. That's focusing the resources, which are always limited. If I spend $1 in cybersecurity, it's not honestly, it's not $1 I spend in a NICU. I mean, there's only $1 there. So where am I going to spend it? So if I'm going to spend it over here, I want to protect all the NICUs, not just that one. And so it's the exploitability management, and you only get that through the flexibility of the controls that you might have with Elisity, and the sheer depth of knowledge and intelligence you get from a platform like Claroty.
That's fantastic. Jason, I think we'll wrap it up here. It's great to see you kicking off RSA this week here in San Francisco. It's been a while since we got to sit down together in person.
In person,
And
yeah.
very much appreciate your time. Good to see you.
Awesome to be here, man.
Take care.
Thanks.